Hallelujah. I've been on my gospel wave all morning, you guys. Hello. Today's training is about to be so good. If you saw me on stories yesterday, raging about what I was raging about, this is going to be good. The lesson, the blessing I've prepared for you is all about attracting high-end clients, specifically on Instagram. So let's talk about the term high-end clients really quick before we dive in deep here. High-end clients are clients who pay you what you're fucking worth, know your value, respect your boundaries, and take care of you. Okay, like high-end clients isn't just about the money. It's about also the relationship, the communication, the respect. It's about much more than just the money. I know we've had literally over, I think it's like 32, 33. We've had 30 plus women join us in the last week. How incredible is that? I'm so stoked. And I want to say hello and welcome to each and every single one of you that have joined us. Those of you that don't know me just yet, I'm Jessa. Welcome to the Virtual Boss Break Room. This is Bossy, Sassy, and I help online service providers, so coaches, consultants, VAs, OBMs, designers even, streamline, simplify, and scale their business. Strategy and tech are really my zones of genius. So I like to help people like make sense of the tech, get over that tech is hard type of mindset, and also create a strategy that's like fun and doable and feels good and makes sense for their business so they can get shit done. Today's lesson is all about attracting high-end clients on Instagram. Last week, or was it the week before? No, the week before, we talked about Facebook groups, using Facebook groups. And I said about 50% of my income has come from Facebook groups. The other 50% has come from Instagram. So I'm going to dive in really deep into Instagram, using it to attract. We're going to talk about content. We're going to talk about copy. We're going to talk about DMing people, when to do it, when not to do it, what to say. So I'm absolutely thrilled for this today. I just figured out how to do screen sharing on this and I'm shook from the ground up. So forgive me if I'm behind, but I'm not screen sharing with you guys today, but I was playing around with this before the lesson and I was like, oh, this is going to be good. Okay. So now that we've got our intro done, I'm going to check really quick. Let me see remember I said my comments on my phone, they can be kind of funky. Okay, we're good. So those of you that have joined, hello, my loves. Please let me know my audio is okay before I get into the meat of this thing. Give me some hearts. Let me know you're here. Tell me where you're listening from, something, so that I know you can hear me before I start dishing out and spilling all of the tea. How's my audio? I can't always see my comments. It's so annoying, but I can't always see my comments on desktop for some reason. Okay. Are we good? We have hearts? Okay, cool. Okay. Hello, my lovelies. Thank you for joining. Let's talk about how to attract high-end clients on Instagram. Let's get into the meat of this. So the first thing I want to say, and this is piggybacking off of what I was raging about on stories yesterday, and that is get all the way in it. Stop pussyfooting around your content, your strategy, your visibility. If you want big ass fucking results, you've got to show up in a big ass way. So it's time to get in it. That is in a nutshell what I was like going off yesterday on my stories. And it's because I hear so many people saying, I want 10K months. I want to do this. I want to do that. I want to do the third. I want to start attracting high-end clients. I want all of the things. But are you doing all of the work? Like if we were being really, truly, honestly, for real with each other, are you doing the fucking work? And I'm not talking about just logistics, right? Like showing up, but showing up in a big way, with a big energy, with the kind of energy that's going to attract the clients that you want and love and, you know, all of that stuff. So part of getting all the way in it for me was becoming consistently visible. And I had to tweak my visibility strategy quite a few times in order to find something that worked for me. My dog just unplugged my cord, so hopefully my computer doesn't die. Thanks for that, Bunsen. Thank you. She just like yawned a guilty yawn. Anyways, so part of my like, how do I go big? How do I go all the way? Was figuring out how to get consistently visible. So for those of you who aren't doing this yet, you want to get visible. You want to show up on people's feeds. You want to be posting, scheduling posts at least 4 times a week, minimum. You can go up to 7, you can go up to 5, but no less than 4 times a week should you be showing up on the feed, okay? And this is different than stories. On stories, I show up every single day, which is why many of you are here, right? You see me on stories, you see the energy I'm bringing, you see the screenshots, you see all of that. Show up on stories every single day. And stories are a different vibe than the feed, right? The feed is kind of like a still graphic and pictures. You can put a video there, but most of us are posting pictures. With stories, I want you guys to focus on that word stories when you think about the content and the energy that you're bringing to your stories. It needs to be a story. So if people wake up with you, they have lunch with you, they don't have to go to bed with you, but let people know how your day is going. Show them behind the scenes, show them what you're working on, tell them about your services, tell them why you decided to put this different element into your service, and start to raise that awareness and really let people know that you actually do this shit. Like you are really in it. And that's what I was saying earlier, is that you have to get in it all the way. You have to go all the way and stop letting, you know, Joe Schmo and mom and the cousin and whoever else, anybody else distract you from serving and selling your superpowers. This is the wave that I've been on all week. I've been like, why are we undercutting ourselves? For what? For what? So the second point I want to make to you guys that we're going to dive in pretty deep here is content. A lot of people, how many of you guys, whether you're watching live or you're watching the replay, how many of you struggle with your content? Do you feel like maybe you don't like your content? You're not putting up enough of it? The content isn't hitting hard enough? Like, do you struggle with content? And if so, like, tell me why you're struggling with your content. What is it that you're struggling with as far as content goes? So one of the things that I want to see across the board, and I see several people that come to me that become clients of mine that struggle with visuals, okay? If you are not a graphic designer, visuals and graphics are way too cheap for you not to be outsourcing that shit. And my 6 and 7 figure earner people, they would never. And so if you want to be one of those people, if you want to be a 10K plus earner, if you want to be a 7-figure earner, then you need to begin to act as if, right? So one of the simple ways that you can start to do that is with better visuals. So if you're doing like graphic tiles, I hear a lot of people say, oh, I just use WordSwag or whatever. Like, listen, my 7-figure earners, they don't even know what WordSwag is. The 7-figure earners that work with me that do like my 12K package, they don't know nothing about that. So I want you to begin doing small things like this. Act as if, get better visuals, hire a graphic designer, go to Fiverr.com I swear I think you can get like 30 visuals, 30 like square tiles made for you for like $7. Come on, y'all. Come on. There's no reason why any of you should be still creating your own graphics. Now, graphics are one part of it because we're all humans here, right? So humans are very, very much so visual creatures. Men more so than women, but even women, we like to look at pretty things. Everybody likes boobs, which is, we'll go into that another day. But everybody likes to look at pretty things, period. Okay? So get your visuals under control. The second bullet point I want to make as far as content goes is your copy. Is your copy really hitting hard? Is it hitting home? Is it touching on not only your ideal client's pain points, but also her pleasure points? Because we don't want to focus too much on the pain because it'll start to rub people the wrong way. I know because I've struggled with this too. So you want to be able to find a healthy balance between this is the pain you're in and this is what the transformation into the pleasure looks like if we were to work together. Does that make any sense, you guys? Live or replay, I want you to know if you're following, if you're with me, if you've struggled with copy, what is it about your copy that you're struggling with? Are you struggling with ideas? Are you struggling with how to write it? So one of the ways that I was able to start writing better copy is using what's called the feel, felt, found structure. Okay? So very easy to remember when you go to write your content for the week, for the month, whatever the case may be. Feel, felt, found. I know how you feel because that's how I felt and this is what I found. Example. You're feeling as though you cannot land high-end clients because people are coming to you just wanting free shit. You tell them the prices and they go MIA. I know this because this is how I felt. And what I found is that I wasn't showing up and making a means with, or, mending my relationship with money in the right way. I found that I wasn't showing up all the way to the calls that I was getting on. I found that my copy wasn't that strong. So in order to write better copy, just because you're a spiritual coach or you love to journal or you want to write a book one day doesn't mean that you're a great writer. Yikes! But it's true, you guys, especially when it comes to writing for business, for marketing. The psychology is different. It's a different thing. And so you have to become an expert in the things that are going to move you forward. And I don't want to say the word expert, but you have to learn how to use different tools to move your business and move you forward. So there's actually a podcast that I listen to. It's called, I will tell you right now exactly the name. Let me see here. Copy Blogger. Awesome podcast to listen to help you really understand copy as far as business goes and the importance that it makes in all of the content that you're creating. So I want you guys to begin to write better copy. And you can even, I love it when you guys send me stuff and you want feedback. If you write something and you're like, this is fire, or you write a post, you put a post up, send that shit to me. And I'll be like, hey, would you like some feedback? And you'll be like, yeah. And I will gladly give you feedback on that. I don't mind, because I know that this is going to help move you guys forward in such a big way. So one of the important things that I see, one of the biggest mistakes I see people making on Instagram is there is no engaging question or call to action at the end of their post, right? So they write this long post and it's like, and that's how I felt on Sunday. Okay, that's cool. We talked a couple of weeks ago about like removing the I language. As little bit of the I verbiage as you can use, the better. You should be focused on your ideal client and talking about you, right? So at the end, if you're asking and you're wondering, why is my engagement so low? Why is no one commenting? Why is there no buzz starting? You're probably not asking engaging questions. And if they're not taking any sort of action, you need to people are busy, they're distracted, and they're overwhelmed, right? That, unfortunately, that is the state that many of us are in. Many of the world is in. I'm not in that state anymore, which is why I'm so crazy about systems and simplicity and all of that shit. But I know what it's like to be there. So I know that when you're scrolling through, you just want a quick, clear call to action. If you want more information like this, go to the link in my bio. If you want $50 off a session with me, drop a heart below. Make it simple, make it clear, make it stand out. And then you'll start to see that engagement start to roll in. People start to DM you. People start to click your links. But get them engaged and ask questions. Like, don't just write a question to write a question. And I also don't like to ask like yes or no questions. So when I do a post, I usually will write, like, let's say I'm talking about how to simplify your onboarding process, okay? I'm not going to say like, have you simplified this process yet? Yes or no? No. You want to ask a question that's like, what's your biggest struggle with your onboarding process? And it gets that conversation going. And then people are like, yeah, me too. Oh, I'm struggling. And people start to connect with each other. And that's what we call building a community, right? Yes, for sure. That's it. So engaging call to action and an engaging question is a winning formula. And a lot of people will say, oh, I do one or the other. Like, I like to choose one or the other. It can be one or the other, but I like to do both. Why not say, hey, if you want more information on this, link in my bio. By the way, what's your biggest struggle here? There's no problem with that. As long as it read naturally, sounds good, sounds like you would talk, I don't see any issue there. So that is the biggest: content, copy, visuals. If you're going to up level, those have to up level with you. And that is how you're going to begin to start attracting ideal clients, because high-end clients, it's not that they care about the visuals, so to speak. They care if you're able to do the work. But somebody who goes the extra mile in attracting a certain type of person, it speaks to the volume of your professionalism, really is at the end of the day what it's about. If you're using lopsided, funky looking visuals and your copy is meh, then expect meh results, period. Okay? Now, the third thing that I really want to talk about, and that has landed me the most money from Instagram, is that the dinero is in the DMs, you guys. Don't be afraid to reach out to people, because that is how we connect. People will start to reach out to you when you start to show up as the fucking professional, period. When you start to provide value, when you position yourself as the expert. And I feel like I've beaten that nail on the head in the last 2 trainings that we've done. But I want to really talk about DMing people, when to DM people, should you reach out. You know, you don't want to do like this cold calling thing. It doesn't feel good to do it, and it doesn't feel good to receive it. So let's just not do that. But what I do like to do, and I do advise others do, this is what's part of what's called the Mama J method. And this is the exact method that I'm going to be going very in-depth with my one-on-one coaching clients. The doors open next week, and I'm so stoked to share this strategy with those women. I'm going to be choosing 3 women to work with privately to get them to their next level and start landing high-end clients like fucking clockwork. So the first thing is that you want to connect with new followers in a way that doesn't feel like, okay, what's the pitch here, right? Like, in order to do that, you have to lead with value. And I'm not saying, hey, Samantha, I have this new freebie that you would love. Here's a link. Not so much. Lead with value. So for example, you can say something to the effect of, hey, Samantha, I see that you are a fitness coach. I work with fitness coaches all the time, and I would love to offer you a 20-minute assessment to see where, let's say you are a copy blogger. You are a copywriter. Copy blogger thinking of the podcast. But let's say you're a copywriter, right? So you would say, let's see where I'd love to give you an assessment, look over some of your copy and give you some feedback on, how professional copy and some different strategies I use could help you. Boom. And if that's something that Samantha resonates with, then she'll be like, yeah, of course, I would love that. And if she doesn't, you probably won't hear from her again. But I've been doing this, and it has consistently landed me 6, 8, 12K contracts, you guys. Simply by reaching out and connecting with people that I'm like, oh, I see that they could probably use my help. It doesn't have to be hard. Spend 30 minutes on Monday, follow up on Friday, 30 minutes. Or break it into 15 minutes throughout the week if you want to. However you want to do it. The thing is, and I was just saying this to somebody that messaged me on DMs, and she's like, I loved your Facebook group strategy. I've been wanting to get into Facebook's group for a while. She landed a podcast guest expert interview and had a discovery call booked this week because of the Facebook strategy I shared with you guys a couple weeks ago. And she's like, I love it because it's easy. And I'm like, that's like my thing, right? Like, I know that if it's hard, I'm probably not going to do it. Let's be honest, which is why I'm so crazy about systems, automation, and making the stuff that is manual, like easy and fun, because otherwise it's not going to happen and it's not going to move us forward. One other little feature that I want to mention inside of Instagram that's been really helpful for me for follow-up specifically, I get a lot of DMs these days, a lot. And it's a blessing, but it can be a lot to keep up with. And people who are, just playing games, wanting to play on my stories and interact and send me smiley faces, cool, no problem, whatever. But there are some people that I'm like, I need to follow up with these people and I don't really have a system for it. Instagram, some of you may not know this, Instagram actually has a flag feature where you can flag your messages. So you just kind of slide your message over, flag it, and then you can, at the very top where you search for a message, you go in and search. There's it kind of looks like a little gear shifts type of icon. Tap that and tap flagged, and then on Friday I go back and I follow up with people that I connected with on Monday. Hey, I'm looking forward to meeting next week. I saw that you booked a call. Send them a voice note. Hey, I noticed that maybe you didn't book this call. Is there anything is there any other times that may work for you? Because my calendar is very limited these days too. So doing this simple follow-up, nurturing these people, and that's what the Mama J method is all about. It's about nurturing people and taking care of them in a way that they're addicted. Totally addicted, which is we talked about recently. We talked about retention, upsell, downsell. That's how I'm able to move people into my program. And even though I have kind of one core thing that I offer, people stick with me for years because I'm able to take care of them. They know I'm the go-to, right? So don't hesitate to reach out. And with that, the last bullet point I want to make here today is don't hesitate to reach out to people that you're seeing on stories and you're like, ooh, she needs me. She definitely needs me. I've done that. In fact, my very first 12K package program, this woman, I was tapping through her stories and I was like, whoo, she needs me. And I swiped. I was like, no, who am I? She's got all these followers, mm-mm. But something in my gut said, go back because you can help this woman and you know it. Sure enough, I went back and I messaged her. And she was like, thank you so much for reaching out. I'm gonna go ahead and book this call with you. And lo and behold, that was my first 12K package sold, like just like that. I mean, we got on the call and then we started working together, but it started in the DM. So when I tell you the dinero is in the DMs, I'm not fucking around. I'm not kidding around. And just say like, hey, I see that this is something that you may need some help with and I can help. Let's talk. Use social media to be social, be helpful, lead with value, lead with value, lead with value. I cannot say this enough. How many of you guys are actually already DMing new followers? I'd love to know. And if not, why not? Do you feel hesitant? Have you not heard of that strategy before? I would love to know in the comments whether you're watching live or you're watching replay. And I wanted to add this little bonus like note here, right? So you guys know I've been raging a lot about like boundaries and energetics. And when it comes to your DMs for your business Instagram, remember that this is like a business space. So be yourself, be your personality, but also remember that you are there to do business. You are there to grow your business. You are there to grow your dreams. You are there to serve your people. And it's really, really easy with social media, using social media as a business tool to be friend zoned, which can be a hard, like sticky thing, but you've got to have concrete boundaries. So one of the ways that I wasn't practicing this that I needed to start in order to start up leveling, like, I don't know how many of you guys have noticed this, but it's like, I made this decision this summer that I was going to take off, and I've been acting accordingly, acting as if, and it's just like blowing my mind how crazy this is happening. But it literally was one of the things that I had to work through was my fucking boundaries. I had terrible boundaries. So like if somebody, for example, was like, yes, I'm interested in this program, I'm interested in joining, blah, blah, blah. I did a call with them and then they ghosted me. They never, said anything. And then they like see a picture of my dog and they're like, oh, she's so cute, blah, blah, blah. No response. And previously I'd be like, yeah, blah, 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 thinking like, bitch, you fucking ghosted me. What the fuck? Boundaries. And I wanted to add that extra note. I wanted to add that extra note in here because with using social media, it's easy to kind of have like this slippery gray area of for your boundaries, but your time is your most valuable asset after your mind and spirit, of course, but you know what I mean? So you need to protect your boundaries when people are messaging you, hitting you up, whether they're following up or not following up, if they ghost you. Your boundaries are your boundaries, so you have to set them. I'm not going to set them for you, but I do want you guys to be mindful of that as you begin to utilize some of the strategies that I've mentioned in this video today. So I know several of you are here because on Monday we start the challenge, Chaos to Cash Flow. And I'm so stoked. I just started writing my lesson on this and it's incredible. You guys are going to love it and you're going to learn a fuck ton. So if you are going to participate in the challenge next week, I want you, like I'm not wanting you, I'm requiring you to come prepared with something to take notes with because it's going to be a fucking lesson. It's going to be a challenge. There's going to be actionable things and homework for you to begin to start moving you forward, okay? So I want you to come prepared for that. I love you guys. Thank you so much for joining this training today. And I know several of you are going to catch this in the replay too because I've got my East Coast girls and my 9-to-5ers. So if that's the case, just drop any comments in the comments section below and I will come back and look at them and interact and answer any questions you guys have. And I also wanted to reiterate the fact that this lesson today is based off of that Mama J method that I mentioned that's going to be deeply integrated into my one-on-one program that launches next week. And I'm so excited to share that with you guys. I'm so excited to take my private coaching clients, the women that come with me. There'll be 3 of them. 3 of you I'm taking under my wings and coaching privately. but I don't open the doors until next week. But I did want you to know that this Mama J method is going to be a deeply integrated part of that private coaching program. So if you're enjoying that, keep that in mind. All right. I love you guys. I'll see you Monday. Monday, we kick off Chaos to Cash Flow, and have a wonderful weekend. I'll see you soon.